Welcome back to our channel, fellow GH addicts. Today is Thursday, a beautiful day to grab a massive cup of coffee and unpack the absolute insanity that just went down in Port Charles. We have so much to talk about, so let's get right into it. I cannot believe they're doing this to Carly again. I mean, I am literally sitting here vibrating with anxiety and frustration after watching the latest episodes and putting the pieces together for the next few weeks. Are you kidding me right now? They are really going there. Before I even get into the nitty-gritty of what actually happened, I just have to say that my heart cannot take another kidnapping storyline, especially not when it is Josslyn Jax getting dragged into the crossfire of Carly's incredibly messy, incredibly dangerous love life. And yes, I'm blaming Carly for a good chunk of this, but I am also blaming the writers because WHY do they always do this? Okay, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take a breath. Let's break this down because there are so many moving parts and I feel like my head is going to explode from the sheer audacity of everyone involved in this Brennan, Carly Valentin, and Cassius disaster. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, Jack Brennan finding out about Valentine Cassadine. I've been watching this show religiously since 2015, and I have seen Carly make some monumentally bad decisions. Remember when she tried to play Sunny and Jax off each other? Remember the whole Nell fiasco? Yeah, it didn't work then either. But hiding a highly wanted international WSB fugitive in your attic, and not just hiding him, but actively hitting the sheets with him, while simultaneously stringing along the very WSB director who was hunting him, that is next level reckless. I mean, what was her endgame here? Did she really think Brennan was just going to stay oblivious forever? The man runs a global intelligence agency. He's not Paul Hornsby, for crying out loud. And the way it went down with Brennan just barging into the bedroom right after Valentine was in that bed, the tension. I was screaming at my screen. Valentine has always been this dark, brooding force in Port Charles. I mean, remember his introduction. Remember what he did to Nicholas. He is not a man you just casually hide in your attic like a forbidden teenager. He is a lethal Cassadine. And Carly knows this. She knows exactly who she is dealing with, but she just couldn't resist the pull. The passion between them is undeniable, but the collateral damage is going to be astronomical. I just keep picturing Brennan's face, the absolute shock. The realization that he has been played for a fool by the woman he was actually starting to fall for. And can we talk about Brennan's reaction for a second? Because I am fascinated by the psychology of this man. He is absolutely livid. He asks her, "Did you really think there weren't going to be any consequences?" And you can just hear the betrayal in his voice. But here is the kicker, and this is where the writing is actually kind of brilliant. He doesn't arrest her. He can't think about it from a political standpoint within the WSB. How in the world does Jack Brennan, the big bad director, explain to his superiors that the fugitive he has been tearing the world apart to find has been living rent-free in his girlfriend's attic? He would look like a colossal idiot. He would look horribly incompetent. The WSB would probably strip him of his rank so fast his head would spin. So he has to swallow this massive betrayal, and he has to let Valentine give him the slip once again. Because, let's be real, Valentine is the king of slipping away. He probably went out the window like a cat burglar while Carly was stalling. But just because Brennan isn't slapping cuffs on Carly doesn't mean he's letting this go. That threat of consequences is hanging in the air like a thick fog, and it is setting the stage for the absolute nightmare that is about to happen to Josslyn. Okay, back to the point. Let's pivot to Josslyn. Am I the only one who thinks Josslyn has gotten way too comfortable playing Junior Spy? I love her. I really do, but she has this invincibility complex that is just so frustrating to watch. She thinks because she has the WSB connection and because she survived the hook killer that she can just poke the bear without getting mauled. Well, guess what? She poked the wrong bear. She has been pushing and pushing Nathan West, who we all know is actually Cassius, his evil twin about Cesar Faison. She found the Crystalline Conspiracy book and the cigarillos on Ross Cullum, and she just couldn't leave it alone. She had to go running to Valentine in the attic. She had to go pumping Cassius for answers at the gym. And now Cassius has grabbed her arm and told her he can't let her go. He is going to abduct her. I am calling it right now. Josslyn Jax is about to become Spoon Island's newest captive. I'm sorry, but locking someone up at Wyndemere is such a classic Cassadine and Faison move. And I am honestly kind of here for the nostalgia of it, even if I'm terrified for Joss. Wyndemere has those creepy dungeons, the secret passages, the whole gothic aesthetic. It's the perfect place for Cassius to stash her while he figures out what to do. And let's not forget the irony here. Britt Westbourne Cassius' sister literally saved Josslyn's life from the hook on the docks. Britt took the hit to save Joss. And now Britt's own twin brother is the one holding Josslyn hostage. The family dynamics are so twisted, and I know Britt is going to flip out when she finds out Cassius went too far. Britt told him to keep playing the good guy Nathan role, but Cassius is turning sinister because he knows if Cullen finds out Josslyn is WSB, Cullen will kill her. So in a sick, twisted way, Cassius might think he's protecting her by locking her up. But try explaining that to a panicked college student who is used to getting her way. But let's get back to Carly, because this is where the emotional core of the storyline is going to hit us like a freight train. Around May 7th, Carly is going to get some news that leaves her completely distressed and alarmed. The spoilers are pointing straight to Trina Robinson being the bearer of bad news. Picture this. Trina comes to Carly completely panicked, saying Josslyn never showed up at the Savoy and she's not at their apartment, she's not answering texts, she's not answering calls. She has just vanished into thin air. Carly's heart is going to drop into her stomach. And because Carly's brain works at 1,000,000 miles a minute, she is immediately going to connect the dots to the wrong person. She's going to think Jack Brennan did it. Trina and Josslyn have been through so much together, from the cabin video scandal to the Esme Prince nightmare to Spencer's supposed death and the hook killer. Trina knows when something is wrong with Joss. She knows Josslyn wouldn't just blow off the Savoy, especially not when Gio is performing. Trina is going to be the catalyst for Carly's entire world crashing down. I can just see Trina walking into the Metro Court or Carly's house, her voice shaking, tears in her eyes, saying she's checked everywhere. The dorm, the library, Bobby's, nothing. It is going to be devastating. I mean, look at the timing. The timing is absolutely brutal. Carly literally just had a screaming match with Brennan where he caught her cheating with Valentin, the man he hates most in the world. He literally looked her in the eye and promised her consequences. And then hours or days later, her daughter goes missing. Of course, she's going to think Brennan retaliated. Carly was stringing Brennan along partly because she thought being close to the head of the WSB would offer her and her family some protection. She thought she was keeping her enemies closer. But now she's going to believe that her betrayal stripped away that protection and put a target directly on Josslyn's back. The guilt's going to eat her alive. I can already see Laura Wright acting the absolute hell out of these scenes. She is going to be a hurricane of grief and rage. She is going to march right up to Brennan, probably corner him at his office or the Metro Court, and she is going to lash out. She's going to accuse him of being a monster, of kidnapping her daughter just to punish her for sleeping with Valentin. And Brennan is going to be so confused but also so angry that she would even think he would stoop that low. Because let's be real, guys. Sometimes I contradict myself because I hate Brennan's guts for what he's done to Nina and Jason. But I don't think he would hurt Josslyn. He genuinely had a soft spot for Carly. He was smitten. He's a ruthless WSB director, yes, but he's not a child snatcher. He's not Cesar Faison. But he is going to bear some of the blame, and Carly is going to make sure he knows it. Because by dragging Carly into his dangerous world by playing these spy games in Port Charles, he created the environment where someone like Cassius or Cullum could thrive. So what happens next? This is where I think the storyline is going to get incredibly good and incredibly awkward. Carly's going to break down. She's going to go from screaming at Brennan to pleading with him. She's going to realize that whether he took Josslyn or not, he is the head of the WSB and he has the resources to find her. They are going to have to team up. Can you imagine the tension? The absolute suffocating awkwardness of Carly and her soon-to-be former flame, and the man. She just humiliated riding around in an SUV trying to track down her daughter. It is going to be soap opera gold. I am dreading the danger Joss is in. But I am absolutely here for the Carly and Brennan dynamic shift. They are going to have to put all their anger and betrayal aside for Josslyn. Brennan has satellites, has a jeune, and he has traffic cam access, which we already know he uses, because he's blackmailing Nina with the footage of Willow. He has the entire weight of the world's most powerful intelligence agency at his fingertips. Carly knows this. She knows that if she swallows her pride and begs him, he can find her daughter. But the emotional toll that is going to take on her, having to rely on the man she just betrayed, the man who threatened her, it's going to be agonizing to watch. And where does Valentin fit into all this? Because you know he's not just going to sit in the attic while Josslyn is missing. Valentin actually likes Josslyn. They just had that whole bonding session over the Faison book and the cigarillos. Valentin is going to want to help, which means we might get a scenario where Valentin, Carly, and Brennan are all forced to navigate this crisis together. A three-way team-up of the most toxic, complicated love triangle currently on daytime TV. Brennan is going to have to bite his tongue and work with the fugitive he's supposed to be arresting. It's so messy. It is so messy, and I love it. I know some people are loving this whole Carly gets her karma angle. I see you guys in the forum saying she deserves it for cheating and for thinking she could outsmart the WSB. And yeah, personally, I agree she was being an idiot, but nobody deserves to have their kid kidnapped. Josslyn doesn't deserve to be locked in a dungeon on Spoon Island just because she was trying to figure out why Anna Devane was gaslit and driven to a mental breakdown. Josslyn is actually trying to do the right thing. She's trying to connect the dots that the actual adults are missing. It's just her execution that is completely reckless. And what about Lucas? Lucas Jones is currently living at Wyndemere. He's right there. If Josslyn is locked up in one of those rooms, Lucas has to be the one to find her, right? But wait, Cassius just planted the idea in Jen Sidwell's head that Lucas killed Marco Rios. So Lucas is in extreme danger himself. What if Lucas finds Josslyn, but then Sidwell or Pascal finds them both? The stakes are so high right now. Every single storyline is converging on Spoon Island in Pier 55. And it is stressing me out in the best way possible. Wyndemere is a massive sprawling estate. It's practically a fortress. Lucas could be wandering those halls for days and never find the specific room Cassius stashes Josslyn in. And with Pascal roaming around grieving Marco and looking for blood, Lucas is basically a sitting duck. If Josslyn manages to scream, or if Lucas stumbles upon Cassius moving her, it could turn into a bloodbath. I am so scared for Lucas. He just lost Marco, he's dealing with Britt's Huntington's disease drama, and now he might be the only lifeline Josslyn has. I just need the writers to give us a satisfying payoff here. If Brennan and Carly team up, I want real emotional dialogue. I want Brennan to call her out on her manipulation, but I also want him to step up and be the hero Josslyn needs right now. And I need Cassius to face the music. He cannot keep parading around Port Charles pretending to be sweet detective Nathan West while he's snatching college girls and threatening his own sister. The charade has to end. Dante is already digging into the Rocco shooting, so the walls are closing in on Cassius from every single direction. Because at the end of the day, Carly stringing Brennan along was always about protecting Josslyn and Jason. That was her twisted logic. And now that protection is gone. She is fully exposed. Valentine is exposed. And Josslyn is paying the price. I am going to be glued to my screen for the next 3 weeks, pacing a hole in my living room floor. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I seriously need to vent about this with people who understand the stress.